All right, we're trying this one more time with sound. Here we go.
A new place, a new home for a while. Let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back. Take my time, just enjoy the ride. A new man passing by. Life is good, best I've ever felt. Get me up, somewhere new, somewhere I can find myself. Oh, I feel so alive. As I reach out to the sky. I found my way. I was in the dark against it all, but made it through the day. Cause I found my way. In bad times, I know I'll be okay. Cause I found my way. Cause I found my way. Cause I found my way. Cause I found my way.
You know that I'ma keep it cool. With you I feel like breaking rules. On the edge, looking out with no parachute. You know I'm dreaming about us two, playing around without a clue. On the edge, leaning out. With us it's all or nothing. Oh, but guess I need more of you. With us it's all or nothing, but guess I need more of you. You say it during night, but in the morning you're asleep. With us it's all or nothing. Oh, but guess I need more of you. With us it's all or nothing, but guess I need more of you. You say it during night, but in the morning you're asleep. You're toxic to my mind, but I know they don't know what you're all about. The way you hold my body tight, staying up talking through the night. Yeah, I know they just don't. With us it's all or nothing. Oh, but guess I need more of you. With us it's all or nothing, but guess I need more of you. You say it during night, but in the morning you're asleep. I need more of. With us it's all or nothing. Oh, but guess I need more of you. Talk about this. Why don't you stay? Why don't we talk about this? With us it's all or nothing. Oh, but guess I need more of you. With us it's all or nothing, but guess I need more of you. You say it during night, but in the morning you're asleep. With us it's all or nothing.
You're muted.
I know. I have to find it. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So that nothing else accidentally plays. I'm excited. I actually put on makeup for today.
Yeah, you should have told me. I did not.
All right, so true story, guys. I'm literally putting on my makeup today. You know, I have gray hair. I have gray hair all around here, right? I'm fine with that. Life
I've
goes
earned
on.
every single one of these.
Yeah, but today I found gray hair in my eyebrow, y'all. Like not just one, not like some one random rogue gray hair, like 3 or 4, and like. This isn't the first time. Just this week, I like plucked one from right here, which I thought was just the rogue hair. Anyways, this is all important because I'm commiserating about this phenomenon to Lindsey, and I'm in front of my awesome light makeup mirror, and I'm telling her, I'm like, I'm like filming myself. I'm like, they should tell us. Why doesn't anybody tell us? Like, this is the crap that people should be sharing, like from one generation to the next. You get chin hair, your eyebrows go gray, your hair goes gray, and if you sneeze, you better be wearing some sort of a pad because you're going to wet yourself. These are the things that the younger generation needs to know. All of that is to say, I thought it was very clear. I was putting on my makeup because I sent her a picture in front of my makeup mirror, but I
assumed you were plucking your eyebrows.
Which I was.
Like, you were talking about your eyebrows. You talked about plucking your eyebrows. You were in front of your makeup mirror. I assumed you were plucking your eyebrows. I did not assume you were doing a full face, and I did not. So.
It's all right. That's all right. But, you know, hey, it's cool. I wanted to make sure I looked somewhat all right today. I didn't put on my wig today. I did wash my hair.
Because your hair is so long.
I know. Isn't that crazy? Like, it's insane. But, I'm very excited about today's guest. And this is one of the rare times that I actually know the guest that's joining us today, meaning it wasn't a surprise to me. I mean, it was a surprise when she agreed. I was like, hey, this is fantastic.
Yes. Simply because of just like a miscommunication. So I'm glad I mentioned it.
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah. So, hey, everybody, if you don't know us, I'm Marly Bird. This is my partner in crime, Lindsey Martin. We are the Everything's Fine podcast. This is just
everything is fine. It's fine.
Everything is fine. It's fine. This is an extension of the 24 days of quickies that we do every year. You guys loved it. So Robin and Lindsey got together and literally just put it on my calendar and said, you're doing this. And I said, okay. But we love it. If you're looking for some sort of like structure, no, this is
not what we do here.
You guys get to be a fly on the wall essentially, as Lindsey and I sit around and chat as just girlfriends, because that's what we do. Like, we get on and we talk about yarn, we talk about business, we talk about books, we talk about our lives, we talk about what one generation should be telling another generation. We talk about literally as many things as you could think about. So, you know, sit back, grab your hook, your needles, your yarn, or just hang out with us for the next hour, or let's be honest, it's probably going to be 2 hours. And we're just chit-chatting. But today, unlike other podcasts, we have a guest first thing. So, I feel like I should let you do the drum up. Yes.
Oh, okay.
You're so good.
You're putting me on the spot. I wasn't prepared. I assumed you would do the intro. Okay.
So you got this.
Oh, the pressure. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna try real hard not to fangirl. Like, I've been working very hard at that, trying to be professional. It's not working. So our guest today is a New York Times bestselling author, who is also, very importantly, a knitter. She has written lots of very good romance novels that you have heard Marly and I speak of on more than one occasion.
Yes, very much so.
I'm only slightly obsessed. I have read everything that is on Audible, in almost everything. There's like 4 books on Audible that I have not read yet. So just slightly obsessed, but she is super witty, so fun, so smart. I mean, her brand is Smartypants Romance. I don't know what else to say. Like, that is the perfect description. And she is actively trying to kind of change the way publishing works. And Marly and I are thrilled to possibly even be a small part of that journey. So she is amazing. We love her. It is Penny Reid of the Knitting in the City and the Winston Brothers series that you guys have heard us talk about. So here she is. There's Penny Reid.
She is. I love it. Hi, Penny.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Very similar to just chat with us. I'm so thrilled you're here. So super happy you're here.
Can you hear me okay? Because the podcast app said I needed to wear headphones.
I hear you just fine, and I'm not getting feedback. You're good. You're good.
It's fine.
Okay, good.
All right.
Fine.
So I know that we have a limited amount of time with you today. So I mean, I have some of my own pressing questions, and we can get to the whole, like, how we ended up working together and how I found you as far as like as an author and all that good stuff. But can you just kind of give people an idea? How did you get into this industry, and how did you decide, man, I'm a knitter too, I should really write about knitting and romance together, which are the perfect combination. Like, it's a great combination. But I kind of want to.
You have a science background, right? You're a STEM girl.
Yeah, I don't think that's unusual though with crocheters and knitters to.
No, not
like
at all.
you ended up being a writer, so that's how that worked.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I'm
gonna make you full screen
above me. I'm trying to adjust. I'm not used to being.
Don't worry about it. You're good. Here you go.
I'm sitting in front of a computer, like writing, not.
You're good.
Okay, so how I got into this was I'm actually bistitchual. I started out crocheting, and then I taught myself how to knit, and I'm a left-handed knitter and crocheter, which they're I guess not a lot. They always, when I was trying to learn how to knit, everybody was like, oh no, learn how to do it right-handed. But I couldn't, because I'm not even really sure what my right hand is for. Like, it's just kind of there. And so I'm just so severely left-handed. But that's not the question you asked. Okay, I also have to say, before I continue on, I warned you guys I'm really bad at this. Like, you
are doing fantastic.
You're doing great. This is
Honestly,
exactly how this podcast works.
Really, you could have a cup full of vodka right now, and it would be absolutely okay. Like, you are fine.
Okay, just making sure. So how I got into this, and I'll try and keep it short, is I was the chief operating officer of a pediatric epidemiology center. My background's in biostatistics and epidemiology and psychology. And so I was I've always written, though. When I was younger, I wrote science fiction and fantasy, and I still have I have a number of complete science fiction and fantasy novels that'll never see the light of day. But I just always wrote. And then in addition, a part of my position was that I also wrote grants and policies and procedures. And obviously, I feel like millions and millions of words and emails, and papers and academic papers. So maybe, when I tried to total how many words I would write in any particular year, and it was pretty close to about like 1.5 million or 2 million words I would write.
Oh my God.
That's huge.
In that particular capacity, just because of when you're writing a grant, grants can be literally thousands of pages long. So I had a friend who was a biochemist, and she asked me, or she was a voracious romance novel reader. And I'd never read a romance novel before. And just because it hadn't come up, I guess. If you don't count Jane Austen, which a lot of people don't, which I don't understand.
I don't understand that. Jane Austen was the first romance novelist. I don't get it. I have a literary degree.
I don't understand. Yeah, so I don't understand why some people don't. And I loved her. My favorite book of all time is Persuasion, and I loved her books, and I was always hunting for more books like that. Yeah. But it's one of those things where I'm oblivious to the obvious oftentimes, and so it was, gosh, I wonder why there's not more books like this, And so anyway, so she was a voracious reader of romance novels. I said, oh, I've never read one of those. She goes, yeah, but there's very few romance novels about somebody who I can relate to. So she's, like I said, she was a PhD biochemist. And she just said that from her experience, and this is like way, way back in 2011, 2012, she had a hard time finding romance novels about scientists and people like us who are kind of oblivious to the obvious. And I said, oh, I can write that. I'll just write it like a Jane Austen version of a contemporary, whatever. So I wrote it. But before I wrote it, I went to Squam art workshops. I feel like I'm talking a lot.
No, you're totally great. Do you want us on here with you? We can be on here with you if that helps.
Okay, be on here with me, because I feel like
No,
Yeah.
you're doing great.
You're doing great. This is fascinating.
I'm like, tell me more.
I know.
So I went to Squam Art Workshops up in New Hampshire, which if you're on Ravelry at all, Squam Art Workshops was at the time back in 2012, like they had a partnership and they were, I don't know what, I haven't kept up to date on any of that kind of stuff, but that's how I found out about it. It was on Ravelry, and I decided to go with a friend of mine, Jamie, and we went and we were put in a cabin with a bunch of other knitters, and we'd never met these ladies before, and we sat around and every conversation passed the Bechdel test. I mean, that we just talked how women talk to each other, which is, we were talking about everything from the oil crisis in Nigeria to, like global warming or robotics or whatever it was. Or epidemiology. And in the cabin, there was a psychiatrist and then another woman was an electrical engineer. And another one of the women was a stay-at-home mom. And then another one was a journalist. And so the Knitting in the City ladies are very, very loosely based on each of these women that I met at Squam. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to write this. I'm going to just kind of like as an ode to them, because I kind of fell in love with each of them that week. And we had such a great time, and the chemistry was like off the charts, and it was lovely. And one of them worked in book publishing, and I don't know, it was just wonderful. And probably one of those singular moments, in your life that you'll always remember. And so that's where the Knitting in the City ladies came from. They were one of them was a nurse in Tennessee. So it was just kind of, yeah. So I used loosely their background. Obviously the women are nothing like the ladies in the Knitting in the City series. But yeah, so that's where it came from. And then I wrote the book on a bet with my friend, the biochemist. And if I wrote it, she'd take me out to dinner, which I did write it. She liked it. So she took me out to dinner, and I ordered champagne and red wine and the steak and the lobster. And I was like, this is a lot of work. And then I saved the book, Neanderthal Seeks Human, on my computer. And that was that. And then she said a couple months later in March, she said, hey, my book club would like to read it because I can't stop talking about it. Could you send it to me? Or could you send it to them? And I was like, sure, give me their email addresses. And she said, no, I need you to put it on Kindle because they all have a Kindle. So put it up on Amazon. So I was like, ugh. So I figured that out. And I created a cover and a pen name, because if you were published a scientific author, or if you were writing grants, then you couldn't also be a romance novelist, because then you'd never get another grant. It's probably true today, honestly, but whatever. So I put it up there for free on Pi Day. I remember holding my daughter, she was just 3 at the time, and she had fallen asleep in my arms, and I was like, finally, I can get this up there. And so I'm holding her, and she's asleep, and I'm navigating the website, figuring it out, and I get the book. I mean, it wasn't edited or anything. It was just like, here's the book. And I figured I'd check back after 8 people downloaded it. I'd take it down. And 2 days later, and I'd asked her, hey, did everybody download? Oh, not yet, leave it up. And then I checked it 3 days later to take it down, and 8,000 people had downloaded it. And I was like, oh no.
You panicked that moment.
And it was, Easter weekend, that next weekend. And then people started reading it and leaving reviews. And I was like, how dare you? This is not for you. So, anyway, so that's the story. So there we are.
That's so cool. So
I love it was kind of like you published it on accident.
I did.
Yeah. It was an accident. It was an accidental publishing. It was
an accidental publishing because it was the easiest way to get it on their Kindles, and they didn't know that you could email documents to Kindles at the time. I don't even know if that was functionality.
I don't know that now. So
I don't own a Kindle, so I have no idea.
I don't either. I'm an audio. If it's not on audio, I haven't read
audio.
That's it.
Yeah. So they just, that's how it got up there, was that we didn't know. I had no idea that you could email a document to a specific Kindle address and it would show up on somebody's Kindle. But I don't know. I don't know if that functionality existed at the time. So
this is 10 years ago. So 10 years later, not only are you a bona fide author.
Yes.
You
New York
also
Times,
help,
USA Today, all of
yeah,
the top, all
you
of the
also
top
help
things.
other awesome authors come
Yes.
in and you help them out, which, I mean, we've talked to you a little bit about this before, but Lindsey and I love that. We love the whole idea of empowered women empowering women. Like it's just fantastic. You know, we're all rising tide lifts all boats. And to me, you are the epitome of that, especially in the publishing industry where I don't know too much other than, I told you this the other day, the crafting side of it, right? Like I know because I've been published with the crafting side, but nothing like what you do. But part of this 10-year created this little mini Smartypants romance empire that's amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So Smartypants Romance was born out of two events. I found out somebody wrote a fan fiction for one of my books. And so I was like, I don't know if I feel okay about that. Not for the way that most people think. I didn't like the idea. And I'm actually come from fanfic. I used to write fanfic, and I know I will not tell you what I used to write fanfic for. I've never told anybody. Like, not even my family knows.
I was going to go hunt it down. It's fine.
Okay. So, yeah, good luck. So I had a pen name for that too.
I'm sure.
So I came from fanfic, but I found out somebody had written fanfic, and I knew how much work it was to write a full-length novel, and it made me feel a little uncomfortable that somebody was writing books and not getting paid for it. I mean, it's like I had that circular thought again. And so I don't like people not being paid for the work that they do is a very rigid part of my personality. And the people who used to report for me at the epidemiology center, they would probably tell you that as well, that I was very particular about making sure that people didn't work overtime, that we didn't have a culture of like work until you die, which was really hard.
Preach.
I was fighting
epidemiology.
I was fighting against it all the time because when you come from federally funded research, it's like the funds are typically scarce. And so you're fighting for all of the funds that you can get so that you can have a salary. You know what I mean? But that's another story. And they're awesome. One of the saddest days of my life was leaving my old job because I loved the people there and what we were doing. And it was a really hard decision. But anyway, that's not the question you asked. Smartypants Romance. The other thing was born out of was the Rip Bodice did a survey, which you can think what you want to about the survey. There's lots of thoughts about it in the romance world and also in the publishing world. But at the time, they did the survey, and it was about the state of diversity in publishing and about the fact that although, don't quote me on the statistics since I haven't looked it up recently, although let's say, for example, 27% of the United States is comprised of Black Americans, only something like 1% of published novels are by Black Americans, which is disgusting. I mean, that was super gross.
Absolutely.
100%.
Very gross to me. But then also when you look at it across, well, who is writing novels, it was always just one kind of person is writing novels. And I'll let you draw your own conclusions there. So that also meant that other historically excluded populations weren't getting their stories told. And that meant other people, if you were reading a book about, let's say, a historically excluded population, it was written by somebody who didn't have that lived experience. And that irks, again, a certain rigidity in my brain, and that really irritated me. So I went to my reader group and I said, how would y'all feel if I had opened my world up to other authors and had them write basically fanfic, but it was accepted as reality in the world? And the post just went like banana pants, and everybody was like, yes, that sounds great. So what Smartypants Romance is we prioritize own voices authors. So own voices authors would be authors who are telling a story from a lived experience. And those authors are typically from an historically excluded or marginalized background. And we try to focus on brand new authors to help them navigate the publishing experience in a very friendly, welcoming way. Yeah. Because I never felt welcomed in publishing, and I have never, I mean, by some definitions, I'm still not a published author. I've written over 30 books. I've hit the USA Today a lot, and the Wall Street Journal a lot and the New York Times, but I've never been published by a traditional publishing house. So a lot of people would say, oh, well, you're not a published author. So just keep that in mind in terms of how individuals in the publishing industry view independent authors. I think within the independent author circles, we don't care. But beyond that, there's still a stigma associated with it, which is super fascinating to me. But anyway, in
You say fascinating. I have a different F word, but it's a family show.
I was thinking the same thing, but
yeah, fascinating is that, and also
fascinating. That's a nice word for that.
Bless their heart.
Bless their heart.
Bless their heart.
Fascinating heart. Anyway, so we wanted to create a welcoming space for Own Voices authors, but there were a number of established authors, especially indie authors, who wanted to help, who wanted to come in and help us, as you said, rising tide lifts all boats. Yes. So we had authors like Jiffy Kate, which is a writing pair, and Carla Sorensen and L.B. Dunbar, who were established independent authors who wanted to come in and help and write in the universe. And then we had I think a good amount of Own Voices authors who came in and were baby authors coming in and writing for the first time. And we tried to foster them and make sure that they felt welcomed, and they could write stories that they wanted to write and that were important to them and that were reflective of their own experience, without having big publishing say, oh, I don't think neurotypical able-bodied white people are going to like this, which is what
wildly untrue. Wildly untrue.
But the other thing is, publishers actually say that kind of thing to traditionally published authors. They say, we have to think about, or this is not something neurotypical people can relate to. Or this is not something white people can relate to, what an insult to white people. You know what I mean? What an insult to
also just
neurotypical people. It's how dare you?
Maybe I want to learn about someone else's life experience.
Maybe that's why I write.
Empathy or knowledge.
So I just find, anyway, I'm going to stop harping on traditional publishing for now. As you can tell, I probably will never be traditionally published, which is cool.
That's okay. That's all right. Cool. You can be wildly successful without them. But one thing I want you to make sure that you mention is with Smartypants Romance, you're helping these authors. You're becoming sort of like this own entity of publishing. But now, in order to get your books in a store like Barnes and Noble and stuff, which, yes, guys, there's still Barnes and Nobles, and in Colorado, there's the Tattered Cover. There's different stores. But in order for these stores to get books, you have to have a certain amount of publishers underneath your house. I mean, how does that work again?
Sure. So we had briefly talked about this. So Smartypants Romance is a publisher, and we have over 30 authors that write books for us. So, we have 30 different authors across our multiple titles. And in order to list books on the marketplace for bookstores, independent bookstores, or even like a Barnes and Noble, to buy those books, you have to be a publisher. You cannot be an independent author who's only publishing yourself.
Okay.
That marketplace requires a minimum number of authors to be published by that particular publishing company. So independent authors who publish themselves, who have their own publishing company, but only for their books, wouldn't qualify to put their books up onto these marketplaces so that they can make it into independent bookstores. In order to, as an independent author, get your books into bookstores, either your readers have to be requesting it, which would be kind of banana pants, or you do a book tour where you reach out to the bookstore, you try to prove that you're a real person, that you're a real author, because without a publishing company, they don't think that you are, and they have limited availability and space and shelf space. And then you do a book tour and you bring your books and get your books sent there. And then the bookstore's like, oh, hey, they have an audience. We should start carrying their books. But with Smartypants Romance, as an accidental, happy kind of mistake, I'm not even going to say mistake, like an accident.
Yeah.
An accidental accident. Oh my. Anyway, so what happened is that as we were investigating the marketplaces to get our Own Voices books into bookstores, we realized that we do qualify. We qualify. Smartypants Romance qualifies. And we have passed their criteria because we have so many authors who are writing books for us. I should pause here and say Smartypants Romance doesn't actually make any profit. We don't make a profit. Every single dollar and cent of our royalties get reinvested back into our authors because, again, this is that rigidity in me. I just feel very strongly and passionately that in addition to editing the breakout authors books and doing the cover design and the marketing and the ads and all of that, and producing the audiobooks, the other thing that we do is we try to put together like craft-in services, sending them to conferences. So putting scholarships together for that, sending their books to awards, and funding all of that, sending them to signings, or making that introduction. And then also, well, in this case, now we're going to be looking at doing print runs, warehousing, Salesforce distribution. And that's what the Kickstarter is all about, that you two are participating in, is that all of the net income, all the net, I'm used to saying royalties, but monies after we pay for all of the goods, all of that money is going towards the first print run distribution for Smartypants Romance. So that's not, I have a lot of people saying, oh, I wish you could do this, that, and that. And I'm like, I can't, I need this money to get these books.
Yeah. Like you are literally practicing what you preach. I want people to be paid for their work. I want everyone to have access to it. Everyone should be reading all the stories. Like my friend Jenny said, she's like, reading is to broaden your horizons, to give you a different perspective on the world, like doing all the things. And your Kickstarter has done wildly well.
I want to stop here for a second because Lindsey and I have teased that we were doing something really big in March, April. Like we've been teasing it. We just didn't say what it was.
Right.
And so all of you who are like, oh, is this what they were talking? Yes, this is what we were talking about.
This is the thing. It's her.
Through a series of events, Lindsey had mentioned to me, you really should try and collaborate with Penny Reid. I was like, yeah, maybe someday.
I was rereading Neanderthal Seeks Human in my car, and like Janie was getting dressed to go out. And I was like, oh, she's wearing a hat that someone made her and mittens and a scarf. And I was like, Marly should make these patterns. So I voice texted her, you should make the patterns from Neanderthal Seeks Human.
Yeah. So then a couple weeks later, fast forward, I just randomly one night, it was even late at night, I DM'd you, hey, we had DM'd each other just a couple times. I was like, have you ever thought about collaborating? You were like, I honestly was just talking about this with my assistant, and not necessarily me, but collaborating. And so one thing led to another. And here we are to this amazing Kickstarter that I just thought was to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Knitting in the City. Too. And then I get the Kickstarter and I'm reading through it and I'm like, holy shit, she like buried the lead. Like, this is amazing. This is so good. Because it's so much more than just this really great celebration of these awesome books and all the great nitty goodness that goes in it. But you're taking a step further and creating this publishing arm, and it's such a huge step. And I want to make sure people know that when they back the Kickstarter, it's so much bigger than what it might appear on the surface. It's huge.
Yeah, and again, going back to my own internal rigidity, I wanted everybody to be happy. I want everybody to be happy.
We're happy. We are happy.
So, very happy. I am thrilled.
I am so happy.
So happy.
I am doing this for my readers, and I am doing this for the people who are your fans and followers. I am doing this for everybody. I mean, what I'm using the funds for doesn't take away from the fact that this is a celebration and that this is, fun and great and all of that. And I have a tendency to bring things down with facts, like to make things sad, what I mean? And so it's like, I'm a little bit of a Debbie Downer. It's like, oh, that's great, but do you know where that comes from? And so I didn't want to detract. I know that probably doesn't make sense to anybody else's brain but my own. But I didn't want to detract from the fact that this is a celebration and it's supposed to be fun. And I feel like we're doing something awesome with the money, but that's not why I wanted people to participate. But I did want them to know where the funds were going to go.
Yeah, I love it.
I have been asked a number of times, a lot actually, because there is a new book associated with this. There's a Van Desmond book and Ava is Greg and Fiona's daughter, and Desmond is Janie and Fiona's son. And the book is entitled Neanderthal Seeks Ninja, but that book will be releasing in 2024 under a completely different title and without several of the scenes included that were really just like Penny Reid fan service, meaning me, myself. They were for me. And so there are scenes that are like with Greg and Quinn that will be in the Neanderthal Seeks Ninja, but will definitely not be in the Banana Pants book, which is really for new readers and a new generation and all of that. So,
so I'm gonna actually have to sit down and like open the book.
Oh no! Well, we haven't announced this anywhere, but the audiobook is going to be recorded for Neanderthal Seeks Ninja, but it will never be published. So don't worry, I'll send it to you. But the thing is that for Neanderthal Seeks Ninja, which contains all the extra scenes, that one will have an audiobook that'll never be published. And then we'll just remove those scenes for Banana Pants. So
who's reading it?
Who's getting it?
Who's reading it?
Narrating.
Who's the narrator?
Who's narrating it? I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. Because it's a surprise. I think people will be really happy with it's a dual point of view. So I think people will be excited anyway, so I don't want
to. You're killing me.
You're killing me, Small.
You have such good narrators. Your narrators are amazing. They're so amazing.
I love, Joy Nash is like forever in my heart.
I love Joy Nash. I love Angela Daw. I love Angela Daw because she also read all of the Nalini Singh Psy Changeling series. And so I hear her voice and I'm like,
too.
I know who that is. I love her.
Phenomenal. She's just absolutely phenomenal. And then some of the voices I've only worked with once, like Stephen Dexter for Dan, because he is very much Dan, So that's
so cool.
So Neanderthal Seeks Ninja will have an audiobook, and so
that's cool.
But I've been asked a number of times, can I please just make Neanderthal Seeks Ninja purchase by itself? And the reason I can't do that is because I need to pay my mortgage. And so I can't make that a one-off because I am going to be publishing it as a Banana Pants. And I need people to actually buy that book at some point.
Yeah. So the Kickstarter, what started off as this Kickstarter amount was $25,000. He reached that in like 3 minutes.
180 seconds. 180 seconds.
It was reached like that.
Minutes.
Like that. And so it's been amazing to watch it because you've had all these like stretch goals and each one keeps getting met. Like you just reached the next one, which was 450,000. And we're well into 460s when I first started this podcast today. I don't know where it's going to end up. And it's amazing to watch because first off, for everybody out there, when you go take a look, the link is in the description below. So if you go to the description, you'll see there's a long link takes you right to her Kickstarter, but there's lots of different levels for you to participate in. So whatever monetarily you want to participate, whatever is feasible, don't like give up a meal, or if you don't go. Nobody wants that, but if it's in your budget to support it, there's lots of different levels for you to choose from.
And like we have some things that we'll show you. That she sent us that we can show you.
Yeah, so we'll go through that. But there's also like if you go to level 8, I'm just going to mention it because obviously we're knitters. Level 8 is like the knitting box. So. But however, if you get one of the other levels, you can add on the knitting box. So there's so many ways.
It's like a choose your own reward. So like
really
when you pick your thing, you can add the other things that you also need.
Yeah.
Yes, because
like the stickers.
I want everybody to be happy. One thing that I noticed with previous Kickstarters is that it's very much like, I want half of this, but not all of it. But this is the only level where it's included. So I guess I'll spend $100 extra and get all these things I don't want. And that's not a knock against other Kickstarters. No, like from personal experience, I had to do a lot of mental gymnastics in order to figure out how to do this and lots of spreadsheets, because just getting to the point where the $25,000 I was going to just break even on materials. That was it. Yeah. So that would be if we had $25,000 in pledges.
Yeah.
And I had committed to each of you, and this is why I'd been so rigid about this, that I was going to do 100 Lindsey with you and 100 with you, Marly Burton. I was going to pay you ahead of time. And, again, it's this like bonkers rigidity that I have. So, but then as it you get more and more pledges, and I think we're up to like 1,500 now. That's a lot more in materials,
Yeah.
and then that's a lot more in shipping and all of that.
And logistics.
So I don't want to at all. I understand a lot of Kickstarter campaigns. Most Kickstarter campaigns don't have as many choices as I've allowed people to have, and so it was about 3 weeks of just crunching numbers to figure out how to do it this way, and we figured it out. And so it is incredibly customizable. So if you just want one thing, my recommendation would be to pledge to level 2 and then access the add-ons so that you can grab Marly Bird's pattern, so that you can grab Lindsey's bag or the special edition metal and toss yarn if you're really just focused on the knitting stuff. Or you can go down and grab the box, which I think there's a little bit of a price savings if you just get the box on shipping as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, because shipping, as you add on each thing, shipping is added for each individual thing, you guys, for the add-ons.
And that's a Kickstarter thing.
It's just what it is.
He doesn't have any control over that.
Which is why I added the box as its own to try and save people on shipping. So you see, I did a lot of overthinking, but I think it worked out.
It's amazing.
When you're doing this kind of thing, you have to overthink every single step. Yeah. Because you kind of have to play, like, for lack of a better word, like devil's advocate. Like, if I do this, what is this? What is this?
Right. Right.
Equal and opposite reaction from science. Like,
right. Yeah, it's pretty darn amazing. I love everything you're doing. The Kickstarter is, guys, take a minute and read through it. Like, it's so awesome.
Read the Kickstarter, like actually read the page.
Yeah, it's amazing. Everything that she's doing. I love, personal note, I love working with you outside of being a fan of your work. I love working with you. You're very nice to work with. So I enjoy working with you. But I also love that, I mean, you're very honest about everything. It's very much, hey, I want to make money. You want to make money. We want to make sure everybody out here is happy. Like it's a very comfortable, awesome environment to be in. And I've been in a lot of different environments, right? You have too. And so it's very nice to work with somebody who, I mean, you're honest. Honest is the word that keeps coming in my head. So you're very honest. I love that. Not only with like us as collaborators with you, but you're honest with your readers. Like it's no fluff. It's here's where we are. And you're genuinely humble about the success. And it's just a beautiful thing. I like working with you a lot.
My favorite was so she has a Facebook group. If you guys are fans of the book, I suggest you go join the Facebook group. It's a wonderful group of readers.
I'll put it in the description.
In the group, like right now, everyone's like, we're at such and such, like talking about the Kickstarter. And I checked Kickstarter on my phone so many times I think it was Saturday, that it made me prove I wasn't a robot. It was like, hold this button to prove you're a human. And I was like, I'm a human. Because I was watching it all day, and then I got busy and I missed it click over to the next stretch goal, which was like 432,000. But like everybody in there was talking about like, we're going to hit it. And Penny Reid is like, if we hit it, I'm like, you're $1,000 away. Like, if you do it, when you do it, I fixed it for you.
Well, because the thing is that you never should take and I think I may drive my readership a little bit crazy about this, but every time I release a book, I am hopeful that they will want to read it, because I never want to take for granted that they have the time or energy. I mean, reading a book is a commitment. And so
I can relate. To like releasing a pattern, I can absolutely relate to that. And
I just don't want to take it for granted. And I don't assume that my readership is from one book to the next is going to be interested in whatever it is that I'm reading about. And if they are, great. And if they're not, okay. And I don't want anybody to ever feel like obligated to buy a book or anything like that. And so I do want to always say if, because that to me is a mental switch that I can't go past that line. I just can't take it for granted. And one of my readers, I think in my group, said something like, well, now do you believe that we love you? And I was like, today you do. Today. I know you do today. But and it's also, I'm very much that way, except not with my kids. They better love me all the time. But with my relationships with people that I know, I don't like taking anything for granted. And so with my friends, with my husband, with everybody, every day is a new day. and I want to make sure that I'm not taking their care for granted. So,
well, I think you are spectacular. I hope everybody will check out the Kickstarter. But before you go, because I know you have another phone call to go to,
I do.
I would be remiss if I did not ask, are you still a knitter and crocheter? And what is your favorite thing to knit or crochet?
Oh, there is it's called like a recipe on Ravelry, and I've made it like 5 times. I had a friend who went through cancer treatment, and I made it for her, and I've made it for my writer friend April White, and for my sister, for myself. I just finished one up. I have to weave the ends in. It's called a shawl recipe.
Okay.
And it's something that I found years and years ago, and again, I've made it probably 10 times. And now that at first I started writing books as a hobby, and then I joked that it was like so that I could pay for books and yarn. And there was a period of time where it was very much a hobby, and I was still working at the epidemiology center, and I spent all of my book income on yarn. And
Yep.
Like Ribbik, I have like all of this cashmere, but the other odd quirk is I would never buy it new. I would only ever buy it on like, you know how on Ravelry you can search through the stashes and see what they're selling. Yeah. And so I would just like every week I'd go on. And
I can't wait till you come to my house. I cannot wait till you come to my house.
Yeah. Yeah, I really went overboard. Now I have all of this fabulous cashmere yarn that I bought at a discount because it was from other people's stashes. And I've just been making these shawls and giving everybody cashmere shawls. So
that's so cool. That's so cool. I love it. I love it. Penny, thank you so much for joining us. Don't leave, everybody. We're going to talk about the items that are in the Kickstarter, and we'll give you some more little stories and stuff. But Penny, thank you for giving us this moment of time with you. Absolutely. We really super appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.
You too.
Okay, bye.
Oh, all right.
She is like, I love her.
She's adorable. I want Robin to come on and tell me, come on, Robin, she's adorable. She's adorable. Come here, Robin. She's adorable.
I mean, what a sweet human, right? Like,
she is
everything.
So it's so
genuine, honest. Everything.
It truly is just like, oh, there are other humans out there that even the way she thinks about things, like, you know, she says like she overthinks or over explains, and you're like, every one of the things, it may not resonate with like you, but you're like, oh, I have a friend, or like there's always something that connects to you, and you're like, wow. But I will say, like, the most surprising thing I've heard this entire morning or afternoon, I'm like, you made the same thing 10 times. I'm like, that does not resonate with me.
Robin's like, no.
That's so funny.
Like every other thing, I was like, yeah, oh yeah, and I was watching the comments, and I'm like, yep, yeah, you got me. And then she said that, I'm like,
so no. Here, and I heard that, and all I heard was, ooh, I need to give her a new shawl.
That's what it was immediately my thought.
And it needs to be called the Penny or something like that. Like this, she needs a new one. And I think that's gonna have to be,
or like you call
that might have to be the bonus. Like if they hit the 500,000, like if they get 2 more patterns.
You need to call it like it needs. Sorry, you need to call it like a pen name, like it's the pen name shawl, because she has a pen name.
Well, it could be even called the Reader's Shawl, REIDERS shawl.
Adorable. But I love that idea. I love it.
Yeah, that's got to happen.
And when that extra pattern, what's that stretch goal? Is it 600 or 650? I can't keep up.
I thought it was. I don't even know.
You know what? I'm looking it up. I'll let Kickstarter make me prove I'm a person again.
I can't remember. I'm very excited to work with her. I mean, I've got my own little like funny stories and stuff. So like, I don't know how I think I recommended her to you, right? Her books.
You did. Okay. I think I had just finished reading the Psy Changeling series, and I was like, well, now I'm in a book hole. And you were like, oh, you know what you would really love? You would love the Winston brothers. It's
Yes.
so smart, and it's set in Tennessee. And I was like, cool. And I had been like Audible had recommended it to me. Like I'd seen the covers, and I was like, cool. Marly says I'll like it. I'll like it. So I downloaded the first one and was immediately in love with Jethro. Immediately in love with Green Valley. And then I was like, how many of these are there? And there's like 8. And I was like, yes. And then I didn't have to make a decision for like of what to read for like, I don't know, 4 weeks or so.
Nice.
And then
Yeah.
I
Isn't that
finished
the
the
worst
last
thing
book.
where you read like one book and you're like, well, where's the more?
Yeah, that's the worst.
I have learned if there's only one book, I don't read it. I
No.
can't. I need more than one. I like, because I've made that mistake too many times. I have learned that lesson the hard way. And so I finished the last book, which is Billy. And in case anyone has read, I'm not going to say anything else, but I finished that last book. I was crying.
Yeah.
Because like the epilogue at the end,
Yeah.
so beautiful. And so I'm like sobbing at my sewing machine. And then I finished the book and I came downstairs to have dinner, and Dave was like, are you okay? I was like, I miss my friends. And he's like, oh, you should go see Marly. I'm like, not those friends. I'm like, he's like, who are you talking about? I'm like, the Winstons. I want to go hang out with the Winstons in Green Valley. And he
Right?
was like, are you okay? I'm like, I just miss my friends. Because it really is such great writing. And like,
She's
I think
funny.
it's funny, it's witty, it's, more than anything, like all of the books, I think that I like the most about it is that she's not afraid to tackle a hard conversation.
No.
Like in the Winston series, there's some hard conversations about race and discrimination. In the Leffersby series, which is beautiful. If you haven't read that, Marly, I recommend it. It's so good. And that's another Our Voices author. I'm really hoping we get the 3rd book. Like, please write this. I need to know how it ends. Like, the Leffersby series was fantastic. And also just tackles some really hard conversations about being a Black person in the Southern United States in a specific time of life and time of in our country, and how that's affected their family through generations. And it was such a really very eye-opening, but also just great writing.
Yeah.
Super enjoyed it. Again, I fell down the Penny Reid hole, like the Penny Reid universe hole, when I was doing Hankmas at the end of last year. I think I read something like 40 books in 2 months. And so and it was great because I was just like, what's next? Like,
Yeah.
I just had her blog or whatever, her website up, and she has like a universe tab, and I just clicked and I was like, I'm reading this series. What is in it? I'm reading this series. What is in it? And so that was great. But it's so relatable. And like, it really kind of breaks my heart as a person who, for those of you who do not know me, I taught 8th grade grammar for a decade. I hold an English degree and an education degree. I have a license to teach children. Not that I'm doing that anymore. But I hold those 2 degrees, and I do math all day for a living. So that's fun. But so like I took literary criticism, like that was part of my degree education or whatever. And when she talks about like being in that cabin with all those women and all those conversations past the Bechdel test. Right. And like, I love a trashy bodice ripper. Like there's nothing wrong with that. I love that too. But the thing that I like the most about Penny Reid is that it's not just that, it's real life. And that is the idea that just because I am technically neurotypical, the idea that a publisher would think that I wouldn't like a book about a neurodivergent main character is wild to me, because in the Penny Reid universe, there's a series. It's about musicians. It's beautiful. Again, wonderful writing. It's by Heidi Henderson, I want to say is her name. I know it's Heidi Henderson, I believe. It's like Key Change, Lost Track. And Lost Track is about a rapper who has inattentive ADHD. It's different than ADHD. It's inattentive ADHD. It's a different diagnosis. And how he struggles to just like clean a kitchen or like put things away. And his friend, like, true story, this changed my whole life. His friend is like, oh, I'll take a picture of this and I'll make you a book. And this is what finished looks like. And so he could achieve the task if he knew what the end goal was. Like, this is what the pantry should look like. This is what the sink looks like. This is what the kitchen looks like when it's done. And I was like, How many arguments would I have not had with my husband when we first got married if I had a This Is What Done Looks Like notebook?
Heidi Hutchinson is the
Hutchinson,
name.
thank you. I mean, y'all, seriously, I could go on for days. It's real. I mean, I have read almost everything in that universe. I think it's like 5 or 6 books. It's really very, very few. And there's one series that's not on Audible yet, and I'm mad about it because it's in the Cypher Systems universe. So like Janie and Quinn series goes off of that, and I haven't read it, and I'm mad. Okay, I'm okay.
So my story isn't quite as eloquent as Lindsay. She recaps things so much better. Mine is my best friend Tara read it and said, "Hey, they knit. You should read it." End of story.
There you go.
So I'm reading it, right? I start off and I'm like reading, and as she's talking about different yarns, she's talking about different designers. And I swear to God, I got on Facebook. I even sent Penny the Facebook screen cap. Because it was like 7 years ago. I said, listen, I'm reading this book series and the author's name is Penny Reid. And I feel like I know her, like know her.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like tagging everybody I know in publishing. Like I'm tagging Shannon. I'm tagging I'm everybody. Like, do I know this lady? Like anybody? Do I know who this is? Because I feel like I know this person.
Yeah.
And like I kept writing no. And it was years later that I found that it was bigger than just Penny Reid, that it was all the other authors. And I started reading all those, and I read all the Winstons, of course.
Yeah.
And then I read her series of like the Elements series. And I
love that one. That was so good.
love that one. And
then she did a rugby one as well.
She did.
That was fantastic too.
But the Elements one of the male characters writes poetry. And it's so beautiful that this is before we were friends, guys, because yes, I'm claiming her as a friend.
Oh, yeah,
whether she claims me or not, she's my friend. So before she was my friend, I had texted her, like DM'd her on Facebook, whatever you guys call it. I don't even know what to call it. Messaged her, and I'm just like, I just want you to know, this is just really wonderful. Like I really love reading this, and you just have written really well. And she was very clear. She's like, it's not me, it's the character. She's like, it's the character in my head writing that. She goes, I can't write poetry for anything. Which, I mean, I get it. There's a lot of authors that I've talked to that's what they say. They're like, it's not me writing this. This is just an extension of, and I just was like, wow, that's awesome. But it really was one night, guys, to get involved with this Kickstarter, which I didn't know it was a Kickstarter at the time.
No.
I just Instagram messaged her, hey, you ever thought about maybe collaborating together? It was after Camp Colorwork, because we had just had success at Camp Colorwork, and I was like, why the hell not? And so I reached out, and then we talked, and Robin and I essentially were like, hey, here's what we do.
I remember you texting me, and you said, I just sent a message to Penny Reid to collaborate. And I said, I want to do that.
So in our meeting, when we told her what we do, and how we worked with you and Jean for the Camp Colorwork, but it wasn't Camp Colorwork, it was for the summer reading. Right. I had just ordered the Smash the Like button bags from you. And so you had sent me like a mock-up of, hey, here's what you would get. So
like, these are what the bags would look like. This is what it would cost you. Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but secretly I showed Penny that mock-up.
Oh, it's awesome. The thing that I told my best friend, so it doesn't have to be good design. Fantastic.
No, it was beautiful. It worked.
But it was so professional and so easy. And it was like, she's like, oh, this is exactly what I want. Because what a lot of people don't understand about Penny is that she loves the design part of it. So like she designed every last thing.
Yeah.
Where like Marly will be designing the pattern collection, but when it comes to like the fabric in the bags, that's all Penny. She designed that. So it's like, because like she hadn't found anyone that would let her do that, but still be small business, still be women owned, like still.
Yeah.
And Marly was like, well, I know. Who do you want to talk to?
Yeah. So like,
tell me the people.
And it was cute. I gave her all these different names of yarn companies. And I was like, well, I know Laura from Madeline Tosh. And she's like, Madeline Tosh? And I'm just like, Madeline Tosh. It's like, it's like this going back and forth because Madeline Tosh plays a very big role in the books. If you guys don't know, it's a very big role. So we got her connected with Madeline Tosh, Laura from Laura at Jimmy Bean's Wool, who owns Madeline Tosh. And then go on through. Lindsay's making bags. I put together the Stitch Night collection, which I want to tell you guys all about, but it's been amazing. It's been amazing working with her, you guys. It's just been such a treat, such a delight. My mind, you guys, right now is going so many different directions on what to talk about next.
Well, okay. So basically this is sort of like a collaboration that we would do with Lindsay and Jean.
Yeah.
In that there's a box and you can get the box and it has lots of goodies in the box. And we'll have a course with patterns and all the things. But like what makes this special is that like there's not just like one box. There's like 800 different boxes.
That's the thing that is the most impressive about her Kickstarter. And like, as a person who has done a box and like all the moving parts that have to come together to make a box work is a lot of logistics. The amount of customization that she is allowed, I'm not going to lie, terrifies me.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Oh, am I thrilled? Have I done it? Have I customized my level? Yes. Let me be very clear.
Not only are we collaborating, we are backers.
Oh, I backed it. Oh,
totally backed it.
Yes.
I absolutely backed it.
Send me the book.
Yes.
Send me the yarn. Send me the things. Thank you and good day. And so like I backed it and I customized mine because like, oh, I know I'm going to want this thing and I'm going to want that thing, but like, I don't need the bag because like I make the bag and like, okay, so I'm going to do this and this and this. Like I customized it, but like the amount of customization that she's allowed, the amount of logistics that she has to work through is staggering. And I think that at $25,000, that was reasonable. I think that at where she's at, which was like 460 something, she's at they hit the $450,000 stretch goal yesterday. So everybody who has pledged gets an enamel pin. She is at currently $464,097.
Yeah.
With 1,548 backers and 23 days to go. Yeah. So she has stretch goals for other things too. And just like the amount of customization that she is allowed for and that she's built in is, it really is a testament to how much she wants everyone to be happy with what they get. And it is a testament to how much she really wants to work with small business and like women empowering women, like Marly, you tagged me in a post a couple of weeks ago that was like, surround yourself with women who will spread your name in a room full of potential or something like that. And I was like, I literally opened my phone and it popped up and I sent it back to you because I thought my sister sent it to me. So I was like, oops, my bad.
So before Marly and Lindsay show you everything, because I'm going to leave because I want them to show you everything so you get big screens. Look in the link below for what we're talking about, because basically this Kickstarter can go in 800 different directions.
Yes.
And the box that Marly showed you, the kit that we're talking about, that's level 8. That's where you're going to get yarn. You're going to get our collection. You're going to get Lindsay's bag. You're going to get the things.
And it's 3 skeins. It's
what Penny was talking about is that you don't have to do that. Yeah. You could choose a much smaller level and then add on what you want in your own collection, essentially.
And the hard part with that is the shipping, though. I just want to mention that.
The shipping is you get a deal if you get.
Yeah. And like maybe we show them how that works. Like I can go in and like I have more than one Kickstarter login. It's fine.
No, you're good. But hold on. Before we do any of that, I just want to let people know Penny gave us a clip from
this is what I want.
From Beauty and the Mustache for us to play. Yes. So we will be playing that clip with her
permission.
Her permission. She sent it to me.
She said,
so don't leave because we will be playing that. So you definitely want to hang out for that part. Okay.
Yeah. Just because if you're not familiar with Penny and not like we've been talking a lot about all the different things she does, but this book series in particular very much is centered. The main core is a knitting group,
It's
and
it's
a
a
knitting
group
and
of women
crochet.
Tuesday
are
night
group of
knitting group.
It doesn't really matter. You'll see the different characters. Some knit, some crochet. Some are beginners, some are advanced, some are, super yarn snobs, some are not. So like you definitely connect with different characters in different ways. And the best way is to listen to the clip. But all right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go so you guys can
Which kind of piggybacking
Shop.
on what Robin said, that's where the Stitch Night collection comes in, because it's meant to be like, hey, you might be part of your own knit night, but of course, because I'm by Crafty, I'm going to call it by Crafty, and I'm calling it Stitch Night. So it's by Crafty Stitch Night instead of knit night. And so I'll tell you all about that, but that's where the whole idea of my collection, my videos, my stuff comes in, and how it's involved in the box. Okay, so do you want to screen share? Can you screen share?
I don't have the I think if you give me permission, I can.
I don't know. It's not, I don't have that option to give you permission. So do you want me to go into it? What do you want me to do?
Log out of your Kickstarter, like log out of Kickstarter, and then you can go in and if you don't sign in, you can see it like you haven't pledged. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep. I'm logging out.
Okay.
All
And
right.
I'll walk everybody through. We'll walk you guys how the thing looks so you guys can have a little idea, because it can be overwhelming if you've never backed a Kickstarter before. Luckily, my husband is a professional Kickstarter backer because all of his industry is done through Kickstarter. So when I have questions, I go, how does this work? And Dave goes, like that. And I go, thanks.
It's funny. This is the second Kickstarter I've ever backed. The first one was Vicky Howell's knitting thing that I did.
Yes.
All right, just so that we're both clear, we only have 55 minutes. We have a lot to go through in 55 minutes, just so you know. Let me see here. Chrome tab, Kickstarter, share. There we are. Okay. So I logged out.
So if you log out, then go to search and search knitting in the city. It'll pop right up.
Okay. All right, here.
Okay, there she is.
Okay.
And so if you click back to this project, that button at the top, it'll show you all the levels. And then you can choose any of these levels. Like level 1 is just $5. You can choose that. It gives you add-ons. Level 2 is stickers. And there's all these different bundles. I believe that she has sold out 11, 12, and 13. I think those are all gone. And she recently added some new levels for the hardback books because she hit the stretch goal to have the heirloom edition hardback books produced. So like there's art, there's books, all these different things. So if you choose a level, you don't have to choose, like, let's say you want to choose like level 8. Okay. So level 8 is the knitting kit. Is that
level 8? Okay.
Right? So you
level
can,
8, yeah.
this is completely exemplary. You don't have to do anything. Like you could choose level 8 and it tells you what it is. And you would click pledge $1.99, and that's the box. And then it takes you to this page. And when you scroll down, you see all the add-ons. Like I want to add the pin or this sticker or that sticker or the emergency sewing
I
kit.
could say I want to add one of those.
And then like the pencil set or the artwork or the mug. And like, we'll show you guys a lot of this.
Maybe I want more yarn.
Right. Like you can go in and do that. And then you can see what your total is at the bottom. So that gives you
another one of those. A couple of those. So now I'm up to $4.15.
So you can pledge at like the $10 level, which is the second level. Level 2 is $10. You can pledge at level 2 and like you can add on the patterns and the bag if you want to use your stash yarn. You can get the, extra art. You can.
There's so many options.
So like, and we can't go through every single one of them because we would literally be here for days.
Yeah.
Because of all of the thing. And then you click continue and then it'll take you
where you log in.
But the thing about it is that you need to know is that Kickstarter will not charge your credit card until April 14th. So like, let's say she hits the next stretch goal, which is I think 500,000, where we're offering you guys a fabric bookmark. Okay. At 500,000, we offer a fabric bookmark. If you want to add that on and you have pledged, you just click manage your pledge and you can get to the add-ons there. And then that allows you, then you could add on like, oh, I want the pin and I want the bookmark and I want an extra skein of yarn. That changes your pledge. And that gives you the chance to like really get it exactly how you want before the event closes on the 14th of April. Now, on the 14th of April, your credit card will be run for the total of whatever your pledge is at that time. So please keep that in mind. But so like if you pledge today and you go, oh, I want to do this, and then you're like watching your credit card statement, like why isn't it charged? It's not supposed to. They collect all the funds at one time after the event, after the Kickstarter ends. That's the thing you need to keep in mind. Woo, Nico.
Dude, hello, Nicoletta. Hello.
Woo! I know.
Very, very nice. I love all this. It's just so much fun. So Penny was lovely enough to send us hold on, my dog is trying to jump up here.
Okay.
Hello. Hi. Hello. Okay, you're gonna get down now. Thank you. She sent us a box. And so we can show you some of these things that there's nothing new in here that you don't know what it is.
Yeah, this isn't anything. We're not spoiling anything. But like,
and we also have kind of news flash, guys. We have mine says that on the site too.
I love it.
We have
Sandra,
a whole
this is
collection.
fancy. Sandra approves.
The whole Knitting in the City collection of books. We have a whole collection to give away today. So you're going to be.
And wait. They are signed.
They are signed.
They are signed books.
So you'll learn all about that as we keep going here.
See? Look, signed books.
Very, very cool. So, can I just tell you? So, in my little thing, I have a handwritten note.
I do too.
I was like, "Oh, I'm going to put that on my little kid."
That's amazing.
I'm very excited.
But like this box, this is what it will look like when you get it. Like this box is printed on the inside and the outside.
They're so nice. You are going to want to save this box. They're so nice.
So this was really cool. This is an add-on. This is part of the art. I have not taken this out yet because I didn't want to mess it up. So this is the foil poster. This is the gold foil poster of the covers of all of the ladies. Did you guys see that? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Like that is Neanderthal Mary. Look at Neanderthal Mary's human. I'm in love.
Super cute.
Stop it. Okay, I'm sorry.
So you actually get 3 skeins of yarn in the box, but I'm showing you 2 skeins. But the color is called Sandra's Revenge. It's a really beautiful red color that Madeline Tosh is custom dyeing just for Penny. And you'll get 3 of those. And just so you know, with the Stitch Night collection, none of the patterns require more than 3 skeins. Right. There are some patterns that will use all 3. There are others that would use 1 or 2. So it could be that you might be able to make a couple patterns with the yarn you get or just 1. But they are all written so that you can use yarn that you have as well. So like you could save this yarn for something that you think is really great, one of the patterns that's awesome, and then use some of your other wonderful yarn that you have to make something else, just so that we're clear. Like,
or use it as an excuse to go buy more yarn.
That was the next thing I was going to say. Yes. And then you got to show your bag because the bag is awesome, but it makes sense that you would show the bag.
Right. So the bag is a twofer. It does have the divider. This has got a project in it, so bear with me. It does have the divider in it. There we go. So you can put like a skein of yarn on each side. Since like also couples.
I didn't do it.
Cool. It's cool. Okay, it's fine. Couples, 2 people. So that's the twofer. It's, if you guys are not familiar, fully self-locking, like nothing's going to come out of the bag. It's got a snap on it so you can put it on your bag or your belt loop. So like, let's say you were heading to your knit night, you don't want to take your whole knitting bag, or your knit night decides to go out and get coffee, you can take just your project with you. And it's the same, it's the artwork, like you can see like Fiona, Sandra, Janie, there's Marie. So it's all of the hey girl, it's all of the ladies in the black and white fabric. I love it.
Yeah, so that's super cute.
And yes, the yarn is a worsted weight. Someone asked. The yarn is a worsted weight.
Worsted weight. So this is the Stitch Night emergency kit. So I don't know why my camera is just having such a hard time to focus tonight. But it's got a little bit of all these emergency items in it. But on the back, I'm gonna try and flip it so it doesn't. You can see it has on the go mini sewing, so it has all the things.
I didn't turn it over.
Yeah, super cute. I love a good pen or pencil. I mean, eventually this will make it so it's not focusing on me. Eventually, I don't know how to not. I don't know.
Here, I'll hold mine up.
Why is it doing that today? There we go. But it has all the couples.
All the couples. And then the Knitting in the City, this is a double-walled like coffee mug, and it has all of our ladies on it.
Notebook says shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Love a notebook.
And then we have art.
So fun.
Okay. So this
These
is
are
custom
so
art.
fun.
This is custom art by Jacob Culberson. I'm not familiar with him, but oh my gosh, so amazing. These, you can see these prints also on the Kickstarter. So like this
Guys,
is we're not spoiling. So that's Janie and Quinn at the diner.
That's
and
like
then this
totally
is a
how
little
I
bit
pictured
here. This is the vellum. So here's the cool part of this. Like this is not their book. It's just the one I have on top over here. The cool part of this is like these fit in the book perfectly. So you can put this in your book, maybe on like a saucy scene that you enjoy. That's not, this Marriage of Inconvenience does not go with this couple if you are new to the series. Just telling you what it is.
No, Marriage of Inconvenience is a great story, though.
I love Marriage of Inconvenience.
Great story.
And you know what? There is like a bonus scene that leads into Marriage of Inconvenience in the Cypher Systems spinoff. And it is like everything, girl.
Are you serious?
Yes. So Janie, you know Janie's gay office buddy who you love? It's Steve's story.
But Steve used to be Cats +1 to everything. But then he fell in love with Elizabeth's doctor.
Yes. But so that story, it's the doctor, and yes, it's that. It's fantastic. But there's a scene towards the end of that story where Kat's crazy family who's trying to steal the company from her comes into Cypher Systems building. It's adorable. And it's super funny. And like Quinn is there and Steve is there and they're like, no. And it's like a whole throwdown and there are police available. It's amazing. I love that scene. Like, do I have it bookmarked? Yes. Do I have it bookmarked? Yes. It was like, I literally was cheering. I was like, yes. It was, and I'm alone in my sewing studio. So.
Yeah.
And so like,
we are not, I just want to mention, we're not we're not forgetting the book bow. I didn't get one. Did you get one?
Either. They're still in production.
That's the only reason I'm not showing it. I don't want
I would love to show you one and have one. I just don't. I would love to show it to you.
But I know how rumors on the internet can start and be like, they didn't show her. I don't have it. But the book bow is awesome.
My box is empty. Like this is this is all I have.
Benita.
That's okay.
Benita.
Like it's fine. I will get my book bow when my order shows. So cool.
Right.
And like no judges. I didn't have to make it. I'm thrilled.
I will share so that they know what it is.
Okay, yeah, it's really cute. It's a really cute book. And like I would imagine that would also work really well for like your Kindle.
Yeah, right there. So
like,
the book goes in it. It's like a book sleeve.
Yeah. It's super cute. And like I read Benita's story, like I went on her website, love her story. So that's great too.
Very fun. Then this is what Penny did.
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
So then we've got stickers. So like there's Janie. These are like individual die cut stickers. Fiona. So we've got all the ladies, and then we've got sticker pages with the ladies. And like y'all, I am in love. I'm in love with this ball of yarn.
Yeah,
heart all the way. And then so like that's like a set of like sticker pages.
And that ball of yarn, that's like if we get that stretch goal, that's what the bag's going to be, right?
Yes. So if we get to 600,000, you can add on a bucket, which I do not have one here with me, which is stupid on my part. You know what's so funny is my husband goes, "What did you order from Spoonflower?" And I was like, "Oh, Penny Reid sent me like a strike fabric to try it. Thank you, Marly." And so I'm gonna make up like a mock version of that bag with the Spoonflower fabric. I don't order my fabric from Spoonflower; it's too expensive. But it'll be like that style bag at 600,000. You can add that bag on, which like, look, y'all, it is advertised as a knitting bag. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I rarely use it for my knitting because I use it for everything else.
There's no knitting in there.
I love to take it to my library. I love to take it to my farmer's market. I use it as my lunchbox. Like I use that literally for everything. I don't think I have a knitting project in. Oh, I do. I do. I have one knitting project in one because I took it with me to the Smoky Mountains when Dave and I took a vacation. But that's the only one.
There you go. So, and those are, if she hits a 600, another stretch goal of 600, the add-on is that bucket bag, and then also 2 more patterns will be added to the Stitch Night.
So one more.
That'll be the reader shawl. I should need to do a reader shawl.
Ooh, I'm dropping things. There's also, last thing that I've got in my box is the die cut bookmark. So like this is Quinn and this is Janie. Love this artwork. Love the die cut. Super cute bookmark. You can put like the couple in the book. Maybe mark your favorite scenes with each of them. Love that. Yeah. So that is that's the swag that we can show you, because that's what we've got.
Right.
little Mitch Stitches. We better get to that 600K.
I know, right? I hope so. Well, I think it's awesome.
It's super funny because like my friend Jenny is the one helping make all these bags, and like we're processing, like, okay, this is how many bags we have. This is what we need to do. Blah blah blah. Like we're trying to stay on top of things and be like we're good at that stuff. And Jenny texts me because like she's following the Kickstarter, of course, and she texts me, at 600,000, do we have to make a bucket for everyone? And I was like, oh God, no. Is that what it says? So then I panic and I go to the Kickstarter page like, no, it's an add-on. Okay. Woo. I was like, if I had to make a bucket for everyone, that would literally be the rest of my year.
Yeah.
Like that's all I could do for the rest of the year.
So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Stitch Night. So I went to marlybirdhouse.com. If you don't already know, you can go to marlybirdhouse.com and see everything that we have available. You'll notice there are placeholders for Buy Crafty Crochet Bootcamp, Buy Crafty Knitting Bootcamp. Yes, those were free boot camps that we did here on the Marly Bird YouTube channel. If you joined us, they were just live knit nights, essentially. I am redoing videos, redoing the content to redistribute those courses. And I know there's a lot of Penny Reid readers who don't know how to knit or don't know how to crochet or tried to at one point in time. And I truly believe I can teach anybody how to knit or crochet. And
if you can teach me how to crochet something that looks like something, you can teach any.
Yeah, I think the Buy Crafty boot camps are really a great jumpstart to that. So because that content isn't available, you can sign up to be the first to know when it's out. That's why those are up there. So if you're interested in learning to knit or crochet, please come and join us. I'm hoping to get everything up by the end of April. That's the goal, at least for the knitting boot camp, and then we'll tackle the crochet boot camp. But let's talk about Buy Crafty Stitch Night. So for me, it's meant to essentially kind of be like, hey, this is a bunch of fun patterns that are great for community knitting projects. Not necessarily that you're knitting with other people, like you're both working on the same project and you're going to seam it together. I'm talking about you go to a Stitch Night. And I mean, if you guys are like anything on my Stitch Nights, you have food there, you have drink there, you can chat. So they're projects that you can work on and be in public. So sort of like a social butterfly project. But they're interesting enough that when you're not at knit night, you can work on them. They're going to keep you interested. Some of them are much more advanced beginner level. There's one at least that's going to be a little bit more experienced, and don't let that scare you because all of them have video content to help you. I'm going in and teaching you everything you need to know for that pattern, even give you tips or tricks, or maybe a couple like different games that you could play with your knit night people as you're working on something. Like there's a lot of fun things involved. So when we say it's a pattern collection of 7 patterns, it's so much more than that. So if we go into Stitch Night, you can see that's, here's your explanation of they're inspired by the Knitting in the City books. There are so many patterns. There are 7 patterns, but if you look closely, there's actually more than that. They're all housed on the Marly Bird House, so I'll get to that in a minute. All the video content, the patterns, everything is available on your time with unlimited access. And so if you're part of the Marly Bird House, you guys know how this works. Again, this is getting released to the public fall of 2023. Right now, the only way you can get it is through the Kickstarter, which you can click right there and go to the Kickstarter. But if you scroll down here, you can actually see the modules. And I want you to notice something. So we have the start here, which we know isn't a pattern, right? But then we have the modules that are the name of each of the characters. So we have Janie, Elizabeth. Now these are grayed out because they're not open yet, right? They're not available yet. Yeah. We have Sandra, we have Ashley, we have Fiona, Marie, Kat, and then there's a bonus. We haven't even talked about the bonuses, guys, because they're kind of like this hidden gem that if you go and look, you'll be like, oh, there's 3 more patterns, because there are 3 more patterns, you guys.
Maggie's response, because when does she ever not do bonuses?
When do I not do bonuses?
Correct.
So I have 3 more patterns that these 3 ones are not necessarily to be used with the Madeline Tosh. They are just extra patterns that are influenced by Nico and Alex and Drew. And now I've got to have one in there that's influenced by Penny. So it's more than just, hey, oh, I'm spending $47 if you're doing the add-on for 7 patterns. No, it's not just 7 patterns. It's actually 11 patterns once I add the Penny one in there, plus all of the video content carefully curated in there with fun things for you to do with your stitch night. Or if you don't have a stitch night, these are just great projects to work on. So that's the whole idea behind the stitch night patterns. It's kind of my own take on the Tuesday night knit night. And so this was what I thought would be a great way to bring together different ideas of what could be made. There are 3 crochet, 4 knit, and for the main patterns, 3 crochet, 4 knit, and it should just be something fun. So hopefully you guys like the whole idea. I thought it fit really great with the By Crafty idea because there are knitters and crocheters in Knitting in the City. And it's just a lot of fun. So that's my contribution to the collection with Penny Reid. So there's that. Okay. All right. All of this is so much fun. I just love this so much. What did you write here? Jethro pattern. Yeah, I like a Jethro pattern, although I have an idea for something else. So
Yes,
we'll
I
see.
know. I know.
I don't want to spill the beans.
We can't talk about it yet.
Can't talk about it.
Can't talk
So it's just a lot of fun. And for you guys to fall in love, by the way, did I spell Ashley right? Is it Ashley? It's spelled like that, or is it ASHLEIGH?
No, it's spelled
It's
like
Ashley.
normal.
Okay, I just wasn't sure. I just thought I'd ask.
Not like Ash Lee.
Lee.
It's
Yeah.
Ash, you know, like because Lee Leigh is like a name. Like it's
Yeah,
Ash-
I all of a sudden had like this panic attack about it.
now I'm
like,
I'm checking.
Well, one, because I
No, you
listen
spelled
to
it right.
audiobooks.
You spelled it right.
Awesome. That's good to know. Okay, so that is the Stitch Night. That's our collection. That's the Kickstarter. That's Penny Reid. She's absolutely delightful. I hope you guys will spend some time checking out her books. She does have them all on Kindle. Sometimes they're put out there. They are put out there for free. If you join her Facebook group, it's like Knitting Sharks, or
It's
Sharks of
Sharks
Awesome. Sharks of Awesome.
Because I didn't know there was a Facebook group until Marla's like, "Are you in her Facebook group?" I'm like, "Where's her Facebook group?"
Yeah.
And I'm like searching frantically, and Marla's like, "It has to do with sharks." I'm like, "Cool,
Yeah.
sharks."
Yeah. So the Shark of Awesome group, she'll often go in there and be like, "Hey, did you know for today only it's free for blah blah blah."
Yeah, she's and there's always like a special running on a book somewhere. Which is really great. And also like the new releases for spring of 2023, like the first release in Smartypants Romance.
Yeah.
There's 3 of them so far, and those 3 have they will be up for purchase. You can pre-order them, I think, and they're up for purchase like on Amazon and Kindle. And then they will go to Kindle Unlimited after like a week. So if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, you can read almost all of the Smartypants Romance books on there. So like
there you go.
That was another thing we didn't talk about, but
yeah.
It's also really great because she does such a great job of making it's accessible. Like it's really accessible. And Jenny said that I would be remiss if I didn't show you guys the bookmark. So this is the stretch goal I think it's 500K. I don't have a book. I have a book to put it on, but so it goes on like the corner of a page like that. That's what it looks like. So that would be, and that's if we get to 500K, and then that's an add-on. So just so y'all know, but that would be out of the girls. That would be out of our heroes.
Yeah. So sorry, my dogs are not fighting; they are playing. You're fine. In the interest of letting you understand where this clip comes from, this clip is of Ashley Winston, and it's from her book Beauty and the Mustache.
Which
and
is
Ashley,
it's this one.
Yeah. Ashley Winston is where you get introduced to the Winston brothers, which is a spin-off series, which is amazing, which we've talked about, which, oh my God, it's amazing.
I am obsessed.
Yes, I love it.
Obsessed.
It's so good. So Ashley Winston, just to give you the backstory here, she's in Tennessee and she's dealing with her ill mother, and she still wants to join Knit Night. And so her brothers and Drew are trying to set up a way for her to be able to join Knit Night via the internet. So that's the backstory of what this clip is from Beauty and the Mustache. Okay. It is read by Joy Nash. She is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, should I just go with it?
Yeah, go with it.
Okay.
Y'all are gonna love it. It's so good.
I love it too. So let's make sure that the sound and everything is going well, because I'm sharing it as because it's its own little clip here. Hold on. There it is. I gotta find it. Okay, so this is what I see. So hopefully, just let me know if the sound doesn't work. Okay, here we go, everybody.
The indicator on the screen announced that a call was coming.
Hold on. Is it back all the way?
I think it is, yeah.
Okay.
The indicator on the screen announced that a call was coming through, so I clicked on the button to accept the call. An image of Elizabeth and Nico's penthouse materialized on the screen, and my heart was warmed by the sight. Sandra, Elizabeth, Janie, Fiona, Marie, and Nico were all sitting on the large sectional in the family room. A bay window in the background provided a stunning view of downtown. It was Chicago. It was knit night. My friends were there. It looked like home. Ah, it's you! Marie smiled a huge smile and tossed her blonde curls behind her back. Look at your beautiful face. I've missed it. She blew me a kiss. Marie always looked like she'd just stepped out of the pages of Vogue. Her ambition and her ferocious need for independence could make her come across as cool and calculating. Personally, I thought she was a badass. Hey, girl. I returned her smile and sighed, feeling content in a way that I'd missed since stepping on that plane to Tennessee. Where's Kat? She's getting beverages. Marie tipped her head in the direction of Elizabeth's kitchen, outside the frame. Who is that? Who's sitting next to you? Elizabeth indicated to my right where Roscoe was sitting. Is that Billy?
That stop?
Did it stop? Oh, did it not all download? Because there's still stuff to go.
I know. Hold on. I don't know. I didn't do anything. No!
No! I'm so sad!
No! There's more. Okay, hold on. We're going to keep going. I'm going to try again.
Okay. I'm going to pull up a backup here.
I don't know what's doing. Why is it not playing?
I don't know.
Okay, hold on. We got this. Could I, because she gave me permission, can I share from Audible?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Because this is the best part. This is why I wanted to show you this, because it introduces the Winstons.
I know. I'm trying to find it in the actual book. Do we know where it is? Does anyone know the chapter on this?
No. Why is it not playing like at all right now?
I don't know. It's being a jerk.
What is happening? Come on. Seriously?
Oh, wait. I think I found it. I found it. Okay. Here we go.
It's like not playing at all.
Okay. I think I found it. Hang on.
I'm trying to download it on its own right now real quick.
Okay.
It's so good, guys. I don't want you to leave. Please don't leave. It's so good.
Nope, maybe that's not it.
I don't know.
Nope,
why
that's
it won't play.
nightstand. Well, here's one where they're all there.
I'm reloading the page real quick.
Okay.
Let me try it again. All right, we were like a minute 20.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I just had to reload.
Okay.
I think. So I'm going to try this again. Here we go. Share screen. Go to the clip. Share the clip. All right, here we go. We're going to try it again.
Thought she was a badass. Hey, girl. I returned her smile and sighed, feeling content in a way that I'd missed since stepping on that plane to Tennessee. Where's Kat? She's getting beverages. Marie tipped her head in the direction of Elizabeth's kitchen, outside the frame. Who is that? Who's sitting next to you? Elizabeth indicated to my right where Roscoe was sitting. Is that Billy or Roscoe? That's Roscoe, and he was just leaving. Everyone in Chicago ignored me and waved at my brother, giving him friendly smiles and greetings. Hi, Roscoe. I'm Janie. She introduced herself with a short wave as she twisted her long, curly red hair into a bun behind her head. It's nice to meet you. You share a striking resemblance to your sister, but where she's exceptionally beautiful, you are exceptionally man beautiful, which means you would not look attractive dressed up as a woman. I knew Janie, so I knew she didn't mean anything by this at all. She frequently made observations out loud that most people merely thought quietly in their head where those thoughts should be. Roscoe sat up straighter and leaned forward, his voice infused with Roscoe swagger. Hey, nice to meet you. Down, boy. Sandra laughed and indicated Janie with her chin. You don't want to mess around in the strawberry jam. Her husband is big and scary and makes people disappear on Fridays, or really any day of the week. He's not so bad. This statement came from Fiona, the most level-headed and also the oldest of our group, though only by a few years. She'd gone to school for engineering, but then left the world of work to become a stay-at-home mom. He's terrifying, Nico said, causing everyone to laugh. I could see he was crocheting. Both he and Janie crochet while the rest of us knit. Hello, Nicoletta. I waved at him. We called him Nicoletta so he would feel like one of the girls. It didn't help, however. No one could ever mistake Nico for being one of the girls. Hi, Ashley. Nico returned my wave with a twinkly-eyed smile. Marie is right. It's good to see your face. I miss your dairy farm analogies. Before I could retort, Roscoe abruptly stood and darted out of the room. I frowned after his retreating form, then shrugged, a bit perplexed by his sudden departure, but not curious enough to find out why he left so fast. Just then, Kat's voice sounded over the speaker of my laptop. Oh my goodness gracious, look who it is. Fancy Yarn McGee. I glanced at the screen and saw Kat standing at the edge of the frame, her hands holding 2 glasses of wine. What are you talking about? That's my new name for you after raiding your yarn stash. Do you have any acrylic yarn in your stash? Anything synthetic, or will only luxury fibers do? Kat poked fun at me, obviously having dug through my yarn stash when she stopped by my apartment to water my plants. I didn't mind the teasing at all, but the behavior was very unusual for her. Typically, she was reserved and quiet. It actually was really nice to see her breaking out of her shell. It only took her 4 years. That's reverse yarn snobbery, and I will not justify your questioning with an answer. Kat laughed, took a swig of her red wine, and claimed the empty spot next to Marie. Fair enough. Seriously, though, I totally stole some of your yarn. And your life-size cutout of Charlie Hunnam says hi. Before I could respond, I felt something hit me in the head, something unsubstantial. I turned and glanced behind the couch and saw a plastic cup on the floor. Lifting my eyes to the doorway of the kitchen, I found Bo and Roscoe standing there out of the frame of my webcam. I glanced at the cup, then back at them. One of my eyebrows lifted. They waved their arms frantically, indicating that I should join them in the kitchen, but said nothing aloud. I turned back to the webcam, sighed, and announced, Sorry, I'll be right back. 2 of my hillbilly brothers want to play charades in the kitchen. Is it hillbilly charades? Marie asked, her eyes on her knitting. What is hillbilly charades? Janie perked up. Sandra provided a definition that was only mildly offensive. It's where the male players have to be drunk on moonshine and are only allowed to give hints by playing different tempos on a banjo. Or a jug. They can also give hints by playing on a jug, Fiona added. And the answer is always the movie Deliverance. This gem came from Nico. Ha ha, very funny. I rolled my eyes. Go right ahead, Elizabeth said, waving her hand in the air. And while you're up, you might as well grab some red wine. We'll miss you while you're gone, Ashley. Nico grinned at me. He was really too adorable, like illegal levels of adorable. Someone should be held responsible for his adorableness in a court of law. Agree. This came from Sandra. Roses are red, violets are blue, rhyming is hard, wine. Laughing at her nonsense, I placed my knitting to the side and padded to the kitchen. My mission was twofold: berate my brothers for throwing plastic cups at my head and find wine. I wasn't even sure we had wine. It suddenly occurred to me that I'd gone an entire month without red wine. That was just not healthy. As soon as I was within 3 steps of the entrance, Bo reached out and grabbed my wrist, pulling me into the kitchen. Ashley Austin Winston! His voice was a harsh whisper. Do you know Nico Moretti? I demand you answer me now. I assumed Bo meant Nico, Elizabeth's husband, because Nicoletta and Nico Moretti were in fact the same person. I gave my brother a look that I hope conveyed the extreme nature of my irritation. Beaufort Fitzgerald Winston, you do not make demands of me. Not ever. You apologize for this appalling behavior. Roscoe darted forward, his eyes wide and accusatory. Ashley Austin Winston, how could you not tell us? It was none of your business, Roscoe Orwell Winston. You know Nico Moretti, Ashley Austin Winston. You know him, and he's hilarious. Roscoe threw his hands up. Do either of you know if we have any wine? 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 You want to talk about wine right now, Ashley Austin? Bo shook his head at me and huffed. I feel like I can't trust you anymore. Beaufort Fitzgerald Winston, you are being silly. Then a thought occurred to me. My eyes narrowed as I surveyed them both. Listen, find me or go get me some red wine. I'll introduce you to Nico Moretti. Do we have a deal? They both nodded in unison. Deal. Good. I spun on my heel and walked out to the family room, intent on getting back to knit night. I could hear the group's chatter coming from the small speakers of my laptop. Just then, however, the front door opened, revealing my brother Dwayne and my childhood friend / ex-boyfriend / now hottie police officer, Jackson James. Dwayne looked anxious and was pushing his fingers through his hair. Jackson was dressed in his police uniform, appearing much like he had a few weeks ago when I'd seen him briefly at the ranger cabin. No harm, no foul, Dwayne, Jackson was saying, and I faltered a step, glancing between the two of them. Jackson's eyes lit up when he saw me. Ashley! Jackson! I blinked at him, then looked to Dwayne for a clue regarding what was going on. Dwayne sighed and rolled his eyes. Dwayne was not being helpful. Police Officer Jackson stepped forward, a giant grin on his face, and reached for my hands. It's good to see you, Ash. His grin faded into an earnest expression of concern. How are you holding up? I blinked at him some more, frankly startled by the sight of him. He was Jackson, but he wasn't Jackson, and I hadn't thought about him in years. Fine. I mean, things are fine. Well, they're as fine as can be expected. I stuttered, and my eyes flickered to the laptop perched on the coffee table. The group in Chicago could probably see and hear everything that was happening right now in my family room. I'm so sorry about everything. Jackson said these words sincerely, gaining another step forward before reaching out and clasping my hands. His brown eyes held mine with such fixated concentration that I got the feeling he was apologizing for more than what was currently going on with my mother. Thank you for your concern, Jack, but Ashley's got her family to support her, and I don't think now is a good time, so... Dwayne came up next to me, real close next to me, and crossed his arms, sticking his ginger beard in Jackson's handsome, beardless face. Dwayne Faulkner, I am perfectly capable of speaking for myself. I nudged my brother's shoulder and tugged at my hands. Jackson didn't release me straight away, hesitating for about a half second before loosening his grip. He gave me his crooked grin, and his eyes were every brown shade of hopeful. Jackson, I gave him a reassuring smile. What's your availability look like this week? I'd prefer not to leave the house, but I could make sandwiches. If Mama's up to it, I'm sure she'd enjoy a visit. Oh, sure, I'd like to see her too. Let me give you my cell phone number. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a pen and paper. I took advantage of the brief lull in conversation to glance at my computer screen, and I had to fight against an eye roll when I found my entire knitting group huddled in front of the webcam, watching what was going on in my Tennessee family room with avid interest. I found the wine! Bo came charging out of the kitchen, grinning from ear to ear in triumph and holding a small bottle in front of him. I sighed. Bo, that's red wine vinegar. That's not red wine. It says red wine on it. He glanced between it and me. What's the difference? I told you so, dummy. This shout came from Roscoe in the kitchen. She isn't gonna drink that. It's for salad dressing and marinating. We can't all go to college and drink fancy wine, Roscoe Orwell. Some of us work for a living, Bo shouted back, then frowned at Jackson as he handed me a folded piece of paper. What's this? What are you doing here, Jack? What's this paper? Bo and Dwayne stood on either side of me, red-topped and bearded columns of suspicion and displeasure. Dwayne snatched the paper from my fingers and handed it to Bo. I squeaked a shocked protest, but Dwayne cut me off. Jackson, what's your middle name? He demanded. Jackson frowned at Dwayne and said, John? Give me that, I said, reaching over Bo's broad chest to snatch the paper back. Well, Jackson John James, I don't appreciate you pulling me over tonight for no reason, just so you could weasel yourself into this house. Dwayne Faulkner, I scolded. Quit being ugly. That is quite enough. As I said this, the front door opened and in walked Jethro, Billy, and, of course, Drew. I groaned and closed my eyes. Paired with my frustration was also a galvanizing restlessness because Drew was here. He was in the room with me, breathing the same air. I took a deep breath and opened my eyes. As much as I wanted to keep them focused on my oldest brother, they instinctively searched and found Drew. His face was devoid of expression, which meant he looked annoyed. His eyes flickered over my body once as though checking me for injury. It took all my power of sanity to extract my gaze from Drew and pay attention to my brothers. What's going on? Jethro spoke first. Jackson is giving Ashley his phone number, that's what. Bo said this like Jackson was giving me a body to hide. And they're making plans to have sandwiches, Dwayne added, crossing his arms over his chest. I groaned again. Oh, brother. Yes, Jethro, Billy, Dwayne, and Bo all said in unison. Listen to me. You all need to back off and mind your manners. Jackson is an old friend. It's normal for two friends to engage in discourse. Just as long as it isn't intercourse, Billy muttered under his breath. I sucked in a sharp gasp. William Shakespeare Winston.
Their names, man. Their names, they kill me.
I love that Ashley just does not hold back. She is like calling them by their middle names, full stop, mom mode, just doing the thing.
It's funny because if you guys did picked up, like the mom was a librarian and named all of them after very famous authors.
Yeah, so Orwell, Shakespeare, Faulkner,
yeah. Austen. But you can clearly see there's the family dynamic where they're all these brothers protect this one little sister of theirs who's very strong on her own.
I mean, yeah.
But I love the idea. Jennifer said it best. Like the knit night, they're all like voyeurs into this like world. Happening? They're like, what is happening over there?
Right? You know, that's exactly what you would be doing.
Yeah, absolutely, you would. Absolutely,
I mean, absolutely. Like seeing someone's family dynamic, not realizing that you're seeing someone's family dynamic. I mean, yeah, you're gonna be like.
I mean, we all kind of got a glimpse of that during COVID. If you had kids at home and you know all the things. But anyways, the books that are read by a variety of different authors, they're very good. That is Joy Nash. She reads some of the Winston Brothers series as well as the other narrator that we absolutely adore and love. He's amazing. He's amazing. He's amazing.
For those of you who do not live in the South, there is a difference between like a Mississippi draw and an Alabama draw and a Carolina draw and a Tennessee draw and a Kentucky draw. Those are all different things. And if you've lived in the South long enough, you can tell where somebody's from. And Chris Brinkley reads the Winston Brothers books. And I remember thinking, like, he's got to be from Tennessee. Like, he has the right cadence. He's got to be from Tennessee. I'm like, Googled it. He's from Tennessee.
Yeah. It's very good.
He's
The
great.
books are very, I don't know if you could pick it up on there. They're very witty. They're very fun.
Yeah.
They're very, they're wonderful. They're very, 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 very good.
And like that kind of introduces you also to her spinoff series from this one, which is the Winston Brothers. So those of you who have read Knitting in the City and are unaware of the Winston Brothers, go check it out. They're awesome. But that's from book 4, Beauty and the Mustache. That's where the crossover happens, or begins, I guess. But like, they're wonderful. I mean, they're just witty, and you can tell that they're funny and fun. I mean, all of them are super great.
You know what I would love? I would love to know, those of you who have read the books, because I know there are some of the sharks are in here hanging out with us. Hi, guys. I would love to know, when you think of these different characters, thinking about knitting and crochet, what do you think of when it comes to them? I'm just curious, because I have my own notes, obviously, as I'm writing out the patterns. I'm just curious what some of you think. Like, do you think, oh, like Kat, Kat talks about in her book where she has all the emerald green cashmere. She's got all these different skeins of it. And so, like, in my mind, I think of emerald green cashmere. Oh, she would make something very, very simple, but something that would just highlight, that the yarn just be the highlight. You know what I mean? Like, I think along those lines of stuff. And like, to me, Janie would crochet something very practical, like very, you need a headband. We're going to make a headband.
That's how I see Janie too. It's like, it's like, oh, you need a hat. Here's a hat. Oh, you need a scarf. Here's a scarf.
Yeah.
Like,
but like
a practical thing.
Yeah. Like Nico though. I mean, I could totally see Nico knitting an F-bomb. Like,
oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Nico, I feel like Nico, I would guess that Nico crochets adult.
That's what I meant. Crocheted. But yeah.
I believe that I deeply believe that Nicoletta crochets adult themed amigurumi. That's how I picture Nicoletta.
I could not add that to Stitch Night. Could you imagine people would be like, what?
But it would be funny.
Maybe like an amigurumi teddy bear that comes with some blue juggling balls. Like, you could just
you just gotta get creative. You just gotta get creative.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and I think of I always think of Sandra as wearing like very intricate shawls.
Yes, I think that too.
Very intricate lace shawls. That's how I see Sandra. Dan needs an F-bomb. Yes.
I thought about that.
Dan.
I thought about him with like some sort of like a duck. Because
she says F a duck. Yeah, she said Dan needs an F-bomb duck.
Yeah, he needs an F-bomb duck. I thought about that already for sure. These are the things that I think about as I think about all the different stuff and how they interact. But what I love most about it is, you and I both love audiobooks. We love romance. We love real world stuff. We love fantasy. We love all of it, right? Yeah. But I especially love the fact that she brought in knitting and crochet, but it's not like that quirky, like only the grandmas are crocheting, or it's just
like
really
it's very real and it's very honest. It's very genuine. Like, if you and I got together with Robin and Jenny and we were all sitting down and knitting and crocheting together, it's very much like, this is what a night together looks like while we work on projects.
Right.
And I really love that.
It's so fun. So before we let everybody go, there's a couple things. One, I want to talk about the books, but two, speaking of Knit Night, so part of the moderators group that we have with the Marley's Minions, we all trade gifts for Christmas, and we never open them at Christmas ever because one, I never get my gift out in time. Two, we're just never on time. So we just decided that we would all just open them on our own recently, right? So I know that the person who sent me my gifts, like, it's all a secret Santa, but I can see where it came from, so I know who sent it to me. But she is also the person who made me the otter in the yellow vest. Like, she is a reader. She's all the things. Like, she gets me, right? So I thought it would be fun to open her gift on air so you guys can see what it was. Because it's sort of like, for me, it was like kind of tying in, because I don't have a knit night, but these women would sort of be my knit night. So as I go and get that, because it's in the other room, I'm going to have you talk about the books. The link to enter for a chance to win the books, it's on my blog. So if you just go to the Marley Bird blog, you'll find it. But the actual link has been put in the video description. So I'm going to go grab that, and you talk about the books and what they can win.
So you guys would win the full set. So Neanderthal Seeks Human, Neanderthal Marries Human, Friends Without Benefits, Love Hacked, Beauty and the Mustache, Happily Ever Ninja, Dating Ish, and Marriage of Inconvenience. I think it is interesting to note, however, that Neanderthal Marries Human is a full-length novel, but it is technically novel 1.5, so just keep that in mind. There are 2 additional point books that you can get on your Kindle or whatever, but you would enter to win all 8 of those. They are signed by the author. They are signed by Penny Reid, and they come in like a little sleeve. And there is a sticker that says autographed, like autographed copy. But the sticker is not on the book, so you can choose to put the sticker on the book or not. That's up to you. So you would go enter to win at the link that is in the description box below, or you can go to Marly's blog and enter to win that. We will be collecting email addresses so that we can notify you should you be the winner.
And not just I have first name, last name, and phone number because I just want to make sure I have a way to get a hold of people.
Yeah, like if you win this, I want to be able to give them to you.
Yeah.
And so then they would just get mailed off to you, obviously wrapped very tightly so that nothing gets damaged. And then, so then you would have the full set.
That's awesome.
Which, they're really pretty on a shelf. That's pretty. That is pretty.
That's very pretty. That's very, very pretty. Don't be confused. You do not get the bag with the books.
No, the bag that was for demonstrative purposes only. It's just this.
Yes, it's just the books. So
Just
you get
the
a
book.
chance to win the book.
You can get the bag if you go back to Kickstarter. You can also
you can get the bag.
And all of that stuff ships in November, guys. So
right.
It's not like an instantaneous thing, just so you know.
No. So this is my box. Let's just, share the goodies.
Share the goodies.
I think it's funny. It literally is in Christmas paper.
I love it. I
love it. All right. So there's 2 things here. And this is from Christina. So there's a sticker here. It says handmade for you. So I'm going to open this up. Stay warm and cozy. And then there's, let's see, when I got your name for the Secret Santa, I knew I wanted to make you something. I had to be something epic. And I had to challenge myself. I hope you love it as much as I do. The colors I picked represent the rainbows of Valeris. I love you, friends.
Oh, girl.
Now I'm
girl,
so excited. That's a whole nother series, y'all, which we got to get on.
Series.
Okay. All right. Hold on. There's something else in here. This is cute. Like little balls.
Oh, that's so cute.
Oh, these are sticker. Oh, look, it's a sticker. Can you see it? Hold on. Oh,
does it say Marly made me do it?
It does, but I can't get it to focus.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Oh, that is amazing.
That is
is it shimmery?
Yes, they're sparkly. Can you see this? It's the bird.
Oh, I love that.
Oh my gosh. All you knit is love. I trust the next chapter because I know the author. I like big books and I cannot lie. Plot twist. I love this. This is so awesome. Read more smut.
Yeah,
queen. She knows me so well. All right, there. I've been looking for you. There you are. I've been looking for you. Resan. Big week span energy.
Yes.
Awesome. And light it up. Light it up.
Don't make me cry. Do not make me cry.
I love it. Okay, hold on. So that's
okay. So now I need to see what she made you.
I know. I know. Well, I also got Dove Dark chocolates, which they're my favorite. Okay. Now I'm very excited. You don't understand. I had to hide this so that I wouldn't open this gift because I've had it for a while. All right, so this is the fabric. It looks like little knit stitches. Gosh, I don't know why my camera is just being terrible.
Oh, that's super cute paper. Where did you get that, Christina? That's adorable.
Okay, all right, hold on. What do I got here? Feels hard, so I don't know what it.
Okay.
I'm trying. Okay, I feel like you guys are missing out on the experience. Oh, it's another box.
Okay.
All right.
She is that box wrapping. Bravo.
Hold on. Why is okay. Earmuffs, but I'm gonna say cover the eyes because I'm gonna make it so if you can read it. Can you read it? Otherwise, I'm gonna have to put it in front of your
face. Put it in front of your face. There. It's.
Y'all read it? Yeah.
I love
awesome.
that.
And it's pink. That is awesome. That is awesome.
That's amazing.
Okay. Oh, it's brioche.
Oh my gosh.
No freaking way.
That is stunning.
Okay. Hold on. Look.
Oh, that is
Oh
so
my
pretty.
gosh.
Oh, that is so pretty,
Oh
Christina.
my, it is so soft.
It
is so soft. So here's the opposite side.
Oh my God, it's so pretty. Oh
my gosh, it's so soft. What yarn is this? She's gonna have to tell me what yarn this is.
it's beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I never get things hand knit. I love it.
It's beautiful. Christina, you knocked it out of the park, girl.
Yeah, she did. Oh, it's gorgeous. That yarn is so pretty.
Wear your rainbow on the outside.
You what?
That's what she said. Wear your rainbow on the outside.
Is she here? Is she here?
I missed the comments.
Oh, hey! This is awesome. I love this so very much. Like it is perfection. This is awesome. Thank you so much. These are great. This is amazing. This is amazing.
The person who can't read it, it said, a wise woman once said, F this S, and she lived happily ever after.
Yeah, I can't get it to, I'm trying not to, I can't get it.
No, and like it's shiny too, so like your lights made it a little difficult.
A wise woman once said, F this, and she lived happily ever after. That's awesome. I love it. It's amazing. Like, seriously, friends that read books and knit are the best friends. They're the best friends. She's by Crafty. See, it's a crochet otter. It's awesome. That is so cool. So anyways, that's my own little stitch night sort of thing. Yay. That's really, really awesome because I have the best people. So I wanted to share that with all of you as I opened it because I was like, I don't want to open it by myself because the group, they all opened it together, but I was busy. I couldn't do it. So I was like, oh, I'm going to open it. I'm going to open it when we do our podcast. And so that's what I did. All right. I think we have covered just about everything right now. I know you have a live coming up, don't you? Yes. A live sale?
Yes, I have a live sale on Saturday at 8 p.m. Central. So 9 Eastern, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific. I have to do that every time. And it's, I called it March Mayhem because I was just like, I'm just going to do what I want. Like, I'm going to dig out old fabrics and mismatch them and like whatever. Cause I found a whole bunch of fabrics in the move that I didn't know I still had. A lot of strike offs, like basically strikes are basically like sample yards that sometimes have imperfections in them. So like it's a strike. Found a bunch of those. So like we have Alexander Sheepleton stuff. We have Outlander. We have geometrics, but like I also sort of in the Olympic sport of procrastinating, where like you're working but you're not working on the thing you're supposed to be working on.
I know that.
New bag.
I just tell you, this totally hides my double chin.
It's just gorgeous.
Like I'm listening to you, but that's all I'm thinking.
It looks so good on you, and it looks so good with that outfit too. Like so pretty.
I'm loving it.
So I designed a new bag and now I'm obsessed with it and I want to make it for the live sale that is in 4 days, 5 days, whatever. So maybe that'll happen. I don't know. We're going to find out. My girl, Michelle, is here. She is heat pressing fabric for me right now. So the hopes that I can get it made. But we're going to have a bunch of worth doing in market totes, like the 2 bags from Hankmas that everybody loved. I've got like a whole bunch of those made up. So yeah, it's like, and when I say it was March Mayhem, it's because like literally everything that's happened is just like, oh, of course. Like, oh, my sewing machine comes unthreaded every seam. March Mayhem. Oh, this machine has a ghost in it. Like if you push the pedal and let up, it just keeps sewing. Cool. March Mayhem. So like, we're just going with it.
That's awesome.
Lean in.
Well, we have an owl. The next edition of Apricot Lane is coming out. So we have the owl coming out. That's awesome. I'm hoping to get it out by Friday. That's my goal. Yeah. The next hat for the year-long hat extravaganza is coming out. Working behind the scenes super hard on the website. You guys are going to just be like,
guys, it's going to be so amazing. You have no idea. It's so cool.
the search functionality alone is just it's
Insane. It's insane.
So
It's amazing.
So you guys are going to love it and be so happy. And I mean, that's the whole goal here. We're trying to do all that. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm thick in the track season, so that's exciting. And just life is good. Life is good. We're just working real hard over here. I love your support. Thank you so much, everybody. When you open my newsletters, a lot of you reply back, which is great because I love reading your replies. And then I love it when you guys will share my blog posts about different things, or you're watching stuff here on YouTube and sharing my YouTube stuff. Like all of that collectively, you guys, it super supports me creatively, emotionally, all the things. It's really grateful. I'm really grateful for that. So thank you for all of your support out there. And when is the next podcast?
The next podcast is April 24th.
All right, April 24th. And then Robin and Chrissy are going to be here next week, so maybe we can jump on and do something fun.
That would be so fun.
We'll see what the plans. We're kind of like,
because like Robin, if you're still here in the background doing all the background things that you do, because we love you, we have that fabric plan that's like on both of our lists. Like we could do something fun. Like I could do that because I'm ordering a new computer today. Long story, I'll tell you about it later, Marly. And because I had to cancel my previous order. Super fun. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like a whole story.
Okay.
There was rage and misogyny.
Oh, okay.
So cool.
Like yes, Christina. Yes, that's the goal, is to get Marly merch.
Yes,
so,
Marly merch. In fact, Marly, I have started on some of your merch.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yep, that's the goal. All the things. So many things going on. I mean, it's a year.
So many things.
It's a year of change, but not change that's bad or like unrecognizable change. It's just subtle pivots that hopefully will improve all of us. So it's gonna be awesome. All right, guys. All right. That's it from us. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please go show some love to Penny Reid. She is on Instagram. She is Reader. She's
Reid Romance on Instagram.
Reid Romance.
REID. REID.
Yeah. All the things. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.